Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Phil and Ryan, listen up. Yeah, that's right, Ryan. Another great night, if you will. UConn Huskies 67-34 over Seton Hall. Another, I don't know if you want to use the word weird game, but Ryan has all of it for you. The game recap, Ryan, as number 11 UConn women's basketball, credit Maggie Vanoni on this one. Number 11 UConn women's basketball defeats Seton Hall 67-34 for Geno Auriemma's 1,200th career win.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that before we went on. It was kind of a weirder game. I will say that for sure. But yeah, UConn and finally both of us back on together for an episode.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've looking forward to this game recap. But Seton Hall in UConn playing for the second time this season, and tonight, like you just said, UConn looking to earn Geno Auriemma's 1,200th career victory. A really good start to the game for UConn. All-out effort and energy from everybody, getting offensive rebounds, not really allowing Seton Hall to get any good looks, and playing just about perfect on offense, but just having trouble to get the ball through the net, trying to score. But that was really a struggle for both teams, kind of the whole entire game, I would say. But UConn really struggling to score the ball, shooting just 7 of 21 in that first quarter. But after a couple 3-pointers, Ashlyn Shade knocked one down. UConn took a 17-5 lead into the second quarter. Seton Hall tried a zone defense to start the quarter, and Ashlyn Shade knocked down yet another 3-point shot straight away. Ashlyn had a pretty good night tonight, finally breaking out of that little shooting slump she's had for the past couple games. So good to see out of Ashlyn Shade tonight. A lot of fouls and whistles blown in the second quarter. KK picked up 3 fouls during that time frame. UConn, like I said, playing really good defense, not allowing Seton Hall to get hardly any looks at all. Pirates had 10 plus turnovers already, but both teams really struggling to score. Huskies had a decent amount of open looks from three, but again, not able to get the ball to go through. And Seton Hall only made just 2 field goals the whole entire second half, shot 2 of 22 from the field. And UConn just takes a 29-12 lead into the half, which you would kind of expect that score after the first quarter. So a really weird score to go into the half. And you really had to think that the struggling scoring was scoring was going to amp up in the third quarter. But it was a struggle to begin the third quarter. Aaliyah Edwards, the bright spot for UConn, playing really well, already earning a double-double just a couple minutes into the third. But Paige Becker shooting an unusual 1 of 7 from the floor, 0 of 5 from the media, 0 of 5 from the three before the media timeout. And of course, after the media timeout, like I said, there's something after the media timeout UConn does. I don't know what Geno tells them, but they go on these huge runs. Paige Becker's made 9 straight points, got a steal that turned into a bucket. Paige Becker's takeover started to commence a little bit there to end the quarter. Offense really started to heat up, and UConn goes on a 15-5 run after that media timeout to take a 48-25 lead into the final 10 minutes. And I must say, I was really impressed tonight with the all-around effort, and specifically really impressed with the team rebounding. I thought that was well improved. Hopefully that'll stay pretty consistent for this next game, because I think we're really going to need it. But the team rebounding was definitely there the whole time tonight. Offense eventually picked up in the third and fourth quarters, and the Huskies win 67-34 to earn Geno's 1,200th career victory.
Yeah, so great job holding them to just Seton Hall Pirates. Great job holding them to just 34 points. On the other hand, not to go off track, but kind of off track on the game recap. Man, 67 points, Ryan. That is kind of, not what we're used to seeing, but not actually saying anything bad about it. You know why? Because it's all I can do I know we'll be back here Friday morning, right? It's all I can do not to discuss what's coming on Sunday. Boy, oh my goodness. And I think it comes at a great time. I'm hoping that if you all believe this, watching this, and Ryan, if you believe it, whether you can comment on it or not is one thing. Another, I like how Maggie ended her post this evening by going, UConn remains undefeated in Big East, but a game at number 1, South Carolina, is up next. I don't know if this is kind of a coincidence, if you will, Ryan, but about the score, to me, 67 is kind of some of the lowest points we've seen in the total box score all season long. And I'm thinking to myself, well, instead of going on with Ryan and complaining about, only 67, I mean, it's a win, obviously. But I'm thinking to myself, man, maybe Ryan likes this after all, because we all know that you must prepare, get your sleep, eat right, and just save everything you can in the tank, right? Before Sunday comes. And I think that that's really the way to look at it, especially tonight.
I think there's kind of two different ways to look at it because UConn really did play amazing defense, held the Pirates to just 22% from the field, which is the lowest any opponent has shot against UConn the whole season, even lower than Maryland. I believe they shot only 25%. So that's definitely a huge positive coming out of the game tonight. But of course, UConn does average 83 points a game, which is the 67 they scored tonight, just a little lower than that. So hopefully that offense will pick up a whole lot, I guess, before that South Carolina game, because they definitely will need to score probably just a couple more points than that to beat the number 1 team. But hopefully the defense can really keep that momentum going into that game. It's going to be a tough environment, but if they can amp up the offense a little bit and play similar defense, I really do think they have a chance. But of course, can't wait until the last check-in, but definitely not going to be easy.
Hold on. Let me just be right before comments. Let me just do this for you and everybody else. I'm sure that people will understand this. We go way back on this, right? Hold on. I had to, I had to do this, man. I couldn't even save it for Friday morning, the last check-in, right? It's like, okay, here we go. This has to, Ryan, I think that you should, they'll all probably comment and say Ryan is next. Ryan, get it out Friday morning. Be prepared. I think you're next. Let's get into some comments. People probably thought I never had this hat still around, but it's still here, hanging out in the background. Let's go over to Jason D'Amico. First, great job holding the fort, Phil. Now buckle up. I am pissed off, and you may not want to talk about this comment. Laugh out loud. Everyone keeps talking about how Paige is going through a thing, that her confidence is shaken, and Geno is trying to keep her focused. After watching this game twice now, I am calling bull, you know what, Ryan? Bull crap. Paige may be going through something, but it is not her shooting or overall confidence in her own play. Her issue is that her teammates are not getting the ball when she is open. Okay, so I guess they're not feeding her the ball when she's open. They are waiting until their own confidence falls to a low and then look to Paige to keep bailing them out before things get out of hand. I counted 7 plays that Paige made cuts to the hoop where she was wide open and no one had the skill set or mind to get her the ball. It is very frustrating to watch. Paige would have easily had 40 points if her teammates actually played at her level. Maybe just everyone should stop trying to make Paige out to be in some kind of funk and realize that the issue is she is not getting the damn ball when she is open. I feel better now. Peace. Well, hopefully after we bring him on for a game recap, he feels a lot better. He can vent. There's good venting. You know what I mean? Good venting. So hopefully, Jason, we still have to, we promised him, and we are not letting up on that promise of him joining us.
I think it's a really good point, and I think Paige tonight, she definitely had a lot of open looks there in the first half, and really just couldn't get any to fall, just like the rest of the team. But like I said, she really did start to take over there in the second half. So I think she's really shown flashes of that during the season where, whether it's the first half or second half, she goes through a little bit of a scoring slump. But at some point during the game, I think all but, just a couple games during the season, at some point, she starts to take over a little bit, scores in flashes, makes some good defensive plays. It doesn't always have to be on the offensive side of things for Paige to really show up during the game and make a difference. But of course, we all know how talented she is shooting the ball. But it's definitely a really good point. I think there's a lot of plays you can probably bring up, and I know Jason did his research there during that game. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. But I think what matters the most is Paige. I think she really is a team player more at times, but there's definitely times where I think she could, take more control and kind of find her own shots like she did tonight after that media timeout, and just kind of, no matter who's guarding her, how many players are on her, just staying confident, taking those shots, and eventually she's going to get some of them to fall in.
About Lindsey Matthews, we love this just half an hour ago, Ryan. She said over 20,000 fans total attended a UConn women's basketball game between Sunday, St. John's, and tonight at the XL Center playing Seton Hall. Yeah, hats off to the fans, Ryan, and hats off to you guys. They come through and watch us. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. We can't appreciate you enough. Ryan and I, for sure, we're serious when we say this. We couldn't do it without you coming through and watching and supporting us. So we thank you again. Hopefully this summer, Ryan, we can really entertain them and get some T-shirts going, some hats, some giveaways. We can't wait. We want to try to make the off season just as fun as the season itself. How about time for one more, Ryan? Great job, Phil. It's definitely a great contrast when you have both Phil and Ryan on your really great show. Hats off to Aaliyah and Paige for scoring 59 of UConn's 78 points. I was especially happy for Aaliyah. This team has what it takes to win a national championship, hands down. The freshmen are just growing and growing. I am so proud of them. Keep up the great work, guys. You're doing a bang up job. I like that, Ryan. Bang up.
Yeah, and I think, it's definitely unfortunate because, of course, this is Aaliyah Edwards' final season, and she definitely is having a fantastic season. So hopefully, it would really be nice to cap off the past two seasons that she's had with the national championship. I'm not going to completely lose hope. UConn struggled against the top tier teams. Definitely have a top tier matchup again on Sunday, but I do believe that they can get over the hump. But it's definitely not going to be easy, like we keep saying. But I think obviously the talent's there. A lot of injuries again, unfortunately this season, but they've battled through it just like every other year and overcame a lot of obstacles. Still playing great basketball, in my opinion. But it's I think it's just a question of getting past those top tier teams, especially in crunch time later in the season.
All right, Ryan, I have a question for you. Have you ever been to South Carolina?
I have not, no.
Friday, I wish you and I were actually visiting there and getting prepared for, even though it's not to take anything away from the Super Bowl, I wish you and I were headed down south, way down south for the weekend. Warm weather. Wouldn't it be such a fun time to why don't we just plan on it now, pack our bags and have the last check in there Friday morning? Wouldn't that be amazing? Ryan, I will see you Friday. Again, today, final score 67-34. We appreciate everyone coming through. A big UConn win, but Ryan, we know what lies ahead. We can't wait, and we all know that you can't wait. Last check in, number 1, South Carolina, Friday morning. Phil and Rye, listen up.